Okay, so I have an exercise file here. I have the same example that I was referring to, temperature and sales of jacket. Okay, so I have this data here. I just copy from here. So I can go to file and click on new, or I can use a control N also to get to the new worksheet. I just pasted the data here. Okay, so remember I said there has to be two variables. Okay, so here we have two variables here. So I'll go to stats. I go to quality tools. Sorry, it is graph. So I go to graph. I click on scatter plot. Okay, so we'll use a simple one here. I click on the simple one. I click on OK. So my Y variable is the sales of jackets. That's what I'm concerned about. I would always do a project on improving the sales. And my X variable is the temperature. Okay. I click on OK. And here I can see that this is the interpretation that I've got. Okay. Now to get to the R value, I cannot do it with the help of a scatter plot. It can be done using the correlation or a regression test, but while doing scatter plot, I can do it with the help of Excel. It's very, very simple. Okay. So there is a formula which I can use to calculate the R value, which is very, very simple. The name of the formula is Correl, C-O-R-R-E-L. I use that formula. I select the entire range for both the variables. I close the bracket. I've done very simple. I just use a Correl formula because I want to calculate the R value. Because just looking at the scatter plot, I'm not able to decide whether it's what sort of a relation is it. Okay, because usually when we have a huge data sets, we're able to look at it. There's something.
You have to select M.
Yeah. So one here, comma, the second one, and then I click. So here you can see, just enlarge it. That's my R value. Okay. What do you think? What is the kind of relation between these two variables have?
A strong positive correlation.
It's a strong positive. So first I would say it's a positive or a negative. It's a positive correlation. Okay. It's a positive correlation. Okay. That's what we're able to do that. Now if I go back to the mini tab, okay, you see that it is going as an upward trend. Okay, it is going as an upward trend. You can see the sequence here. If it's going towards an upward trend, it's a sign of a positive correlation. However, if the pictorial representation shows a downward trend, it would be a negative sort of correlation. And if there's a linear line, then it seems a no relation. Okay, so I have another example to share. So this is an example that I've taken. Okay, temperature and sales of jacket. I just pasted it over here. Okay, one hint. If you want to go back to the same, you can just use this edit last dialog, or either you can use Control E. You don't have to go back again. But since we are learning, so we'll go to stats. Sorry, we go to graph, scatter plot. Okay, simple. Okay. So I have the old numbers here, so I would not rely on it. I would just get rid of it because this is showing the data for the previous example that we have taken. So I'll just remove this as well. So in the Y variable, I will mention the sales of jacket. In the X variable, I'll mention the temperature. What sort of a correlation is this? What do you think? Does it give any upward or a low or downward trend? What do you
There's a
think?
changing trend. So firstly it is negative, then it is going high, so it's positive. So it's a non-certain.
So I'm not very certain about it, right? I'm not pretty sure about it, that what sort of this is. So in that particular case, I would go to Excel. Okay. I would use a Corel formula. I select this range. So it's come out to be 0.04, which is very, very near to 0, which seems that there is no relation between temperature and sales of jacket. Okay. So as you said, initially it was showing a negative correlation. Okay. Then it's positive. So if we look at the entire data set, then we would be able to conclude that it's very, very near to 0, which seems it's a no relation at all. Okay. So typically with the help of R value, we would be able to look at what sort of a relation, and with the help of the size of the shape that we get in the scatter plot, we can conclude what sort of a relation do we have. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
Minitab Simmer, where does it show the R value and when you do
So Minitab, as I said, once we get into the correlation and regression test, the hypothesis test, there we would be able to see the R value.
Okay.
But in scatter plot, it's a 7 quality tool. It is not related to the statistical influences. These are the quality tools which help us to do some kind of analysis, some kind of a consensus. So though R value is not there in scatter plot, I have additionally used it to make you understand.
Okay.
But if I do a scatter plot, even though on Minitab or an Excel, it will never throw any R value. But when you do it, when we do the correlation test, which is similar to the scatter plot, but the only difference between scatter plot and correlation is correlation proves statistically, and scatter plot just graphically represent what sort of a relation is this. So when we do the correlation next week, there you would be able to see the R value on Minitab itself. There you don't have to calculate it on Excel. You can do it just to validate it, but the result would always remain the same.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody has any questions? Because we have almost got the time. So we have covered 3 of the quality tools today, and now in the next class we will cover the remaining, and we will be able to conclude some of the hypothesis tools as well, and therefore we will continue with the improve and control. So how many classes we have? I think we have got 4 classes already done.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So we are towards the halfway of our training, and we are probably on time. We intended to cover the 3 quality tools by the end of 3rd session, and now we are left with the last 12 hours of our training, wherein I will also share one couple of case studies as well with you, some completed projects wherein you will understand each and everything, the end-to-end as well, and there will be a test at the end of it. So probably we can have a different slot apart from these 12 hours, or if we have time, we can have this test within these 12 hours only. So there, the test duration would be for 1 hour. And if there is anything which we should be covering and which we could not cover in these 12 hours due to some questions that people have, due to some clarification that people have, we can spare more time as well. So don't worry about it that we only have these 12 hours. If we could not cover this in 12 hours, we can probably take more time, but then we'll have to call another week also. But I will try my level best to ensure that we cover it within 12 hours. But that doesn't allow you not to ask questions. If it's required, we can have an extra 1 hour also, or maybe more than that also if required. So don't worry about the time.
Yeah.
So very nice, very good. It was a very good session today. I really enjoyed. I really learned a lot of stuff which I was not aware of, especially the examples that you guys talk about, the CP and CPK. That's something new for me, which I would definitely apply it in my other trainings and my other projects. Hope you also enjoyed and liked something new today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
Okay.
Simar.
Good session.
Okay, it's getting more interesting looking at the graphs, right? It makes more sense to the data.
yeah,
True.
great. So I'm glad that you are learning something new from your day-to-day life, and it's good that we have a good audience, different set of people, different background. It helps us to learn things better. So thank you so much to all of you. You all have contributed really well so far. It's really helping me to calibrate, and I'm sure it must be helping you also.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so I will share the presentations with you by tomorrow evening, because I have a training tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning itself. And then I will be able to share it by second half. Okay. So we'll meet next Saturday at 7 p.m. So enjoy your weekdays. We'll meet next time.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Simar.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Timur, and good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.